Welcome back. All right, so we're going to talk about the New Jersey Devils today. Been looking at teams with the starts they've been off to and some slow starts and fast starts. And even though the slow starts tend to generate a lot of interest, and there may be something to talk about with Nashville soon enough, I don't feel like with Nashville I need to necessarily do a video on that situation yet, but we'll see. So the New Jersey Devils were one of the favorites to win the Stanley Cup before the season started, depending on which betting site you go through. They're listed top 5, top 6, that kind of area, and that tells you that people think they have a very good chance of winning, which, considering they missed the playoffs last season, looked kind of out of place. However, the goaltending definitely cost New Jersey last year. The defense didn't help either, and this year, the defense and the goaltending have both looked better. It starts in Prague, and what's interesting is it was Buffalo and New Jersey that went over to Prague. A couple of games the NHL didn't really say much about. They were much more interested in what was going to happen with their triple header to open the hockey on this side of the ocean, but those games ended up being pretty big for both teams. Buffalo still struggling coming out of those two games, in New Jersey, they have a 5-2 record. So it starts with those wins overseas. They win 4-1. Nathan Bastian with 2 assists. Kovacevic with a goal and an assist, and Markstrom 30 saves on 31 shots. Pretty much a perfect opening for the New Jersey Devils. Then they win the second game against Buffalo by a score of 3-1. Jack Hughes had 2 assists in that game, and Jake Allen 17 saves on 18 shots. So you get 2 quality starts. You allow 2 goals in 2 games, and there's some confidence there. Now, their first game played on this side of the pond was against Toronto. They lose that game 4-2. The goals in that game came from Bratt and Meyer. Markstrom 18 saves on 22 shots. To this point, this is the only start that you can look at and say it wasn't a quality start. Quality starts are 900 or better. So in this case, Markstrom doesn't reach that mark, but that's the only time. And last season, I remember looking at New Jersey at different points, and quality starts were hard to come by at points last year. So that one start here for Markstrom, again, it's against Toronto, a team that knows how to score, so it's understandable. Then they bounce back. They win 5-3 over the Washington Capitals. Paul Cotter had 2 goals in that game. Nason had 3 assists. Markstrom 29 saves on 32 shots. Then they beat Utah 3-0, knocked them out of the realm of the undefeated. Hischier with a goal and an assist. Seamus Casey a goal and an assist as well. And Jake Allen saves all 20 shots for a shutout. So, again, the goaltending excellent for them. They did lose the next one against Carolina 4-2. Jack Hughes had a goal and an assist. Bratt had 2 assists. Markstrom saved 27 out of 30. Again, that's 9 saves on every 10 shots. That's right around where you want your goaltender to be. And then last night, they beat Ottawa 3-1. Dillon, 1 assist. He was a +2 in that game last night. Cotter had a goal again. And Markstrom, 30 saves on 31 shots, the same as he had against Buffalo. Now, it is worthy of note that against teams that made the playoffs last year, they are 1-2. But they're winning the games they're supposed to win. Ottawa, Utah, both games against Buffalo, they're winning these games. It makes a difference, right? You're going to make the playoffs. You've got to beat those teams you should beat, and then have a decent record against the teams that people expect you to have some struggles against. So far this season, their top scorer, Stefan Nason. Yep, 7 games, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. Bringing him back looks like genius. Bratt, a goal and 5 assists for 6 points for him. Cotter, 5 goals and an assist, 6 points in 7 games. And seems like another brilliant move bringing him in from the Vegas Golden Knights. Cotter looks right at home in New Jersey in a way that he never did in Vegas. Not offensively anyways. Hischier, 3 goals, 2 assists for him. And then you've got Howla, Jack Hughes, and Kovacevic with a goal and 4 assists in 7 games. And I keep saying Jack Hughes because even though Luke Hughes hasn't played a game yet, I want to stay where I'm used to saying both names because I don't want to get lazy and start saying Hughes all the time. And then when Luke comes back, have the comment section all, which Hughes? So I want to make sure I keep saying Jack Hughes. Now, Markstrom's 3-2 with a .918 save percentage. Obviously, the 2 losses he had against Carolina and Toronto, these are strong opponents. You're going to be playing Markstrom against them. Jake Allen, a .974 save percentage. 2 wins for him. The shutout over Utah, and then the 1 goal he allowed against the Buffalo Sabres. Those numbers are excellent. And again, Allen can be a solid backup goaltender. Markstrom, of course, brought in from Calgary. His advanced numbers were very good this past season. And now his numbers overall are pretty good so far. Now, their 3.14 goals per game is good. Their 2.00 goals against per game is fantastic. If they can stay with numbers anywhere near that, they're definitely a playoff team and should very well end up top 3 in their division, I would think. 18.5% on the power play. That's something they may want to work on and get fixed up. 89.5% on the penalty kill. Their penalty kill is excellent so far this season, which again is definitely proof that the goaltending and the defense have been excellent. The goaltending and defense, if you have problems there, it usually will show up on the penalty kill. Their 25.71 hits per 60 minutes is 6th overall in the National Hockey League, which one of two things. Either they're hitting a lot or they don't have the puck a lot, because if your team has the puck and you throw a hit, it's interference. Block shots, 15.85 block shots per 60 minutes, that's 16th. The one alarming number that I found when I was putting this together, they have 126 giveaways. I did a double take when I saw that. Only 23 takeaways, and their 126 giveaways, it's a little bit out of line with everybody else. So there might be some good fortune in this as well. They're going to want to cut down on giving the puck away that much. You're really not going to want to be doing that much. I'm hoping that's an error on the NHL app and that they don't actually have 126 giveaways and we can all have a laugh about it later. But yeah, other than that, their numbers are pretty good. Their upcoming schedule, well, Saturday they play against Washington. They've already beaten Washington once this year. Then they're at home against Tampa on Tuesday. So if it's in red, they're at home. If it's in blue, they're on the road. So they have two at home. And again, it's the Caps and the Bolts. So they're going to want to bring their A game. And I'm thinking with the amount of time in between games, maybe you play Markstrom both nights. Give Markstrom both games. And then on Thursday, they're in Detroit. So Detroit's had a rough start to the season. I would think you start Allen there, because on Friday, they come back home, they play against the New York Islanders. So on Friday, then you play Markstrom there. Sunday, they have the Ducks. I would think you can throw Allen in the net there. That's a home game, and then on Wednesday, they're in Vancouver. You got to play Markstrom against Vancouver, and that's on the 30th of October and rounds out their month of October. So that's a pretty busy 12-game month of October, but this is where things are always interesting to me. The teams that build up wins at the start of the year and they get themselves pretty comfortably into a playoff position are very often the teams that stay in that playoff position the rest of the season. So with their upcoming games, there are some winnable ones in here. I don't see any reason why they can't beat Detroit, Islanders, Anaheim. You know what? I think they can beat Vancouver. They did it last season. They went into Vancouver. I don't see any reason why they can't do it this season as well. But I wanted to talk about the defense. The defense, Kovacevic, Casey, Dillon, Hamilton, Siegenthaler, and Nemitz. Starting the season, there was a lot of discussion about how Pesce wasn't ready and Luke Hughes wasn't going to be ready either. And the question about depth on the blue line. And then Hataka ends up getting hurt too. So you're in a position where you're without 3 of your arguably top 7. Seamus Casey has looked very good, and Nemitz has not looked out of place. And so once Hughes and Pesce comes back, I would think that Casey and Nemitz probably end up coming out of the lineup because you don't need waivers to send them down, but it's not going to be an easy decision. And it is definitely the kind of decision that a general manager likes to have. It's a problem you want to have, is to have too many quality defensemen. And it's a big part of the reason why I think this is sustainable. I think this is a team that's going to finish above the playoff line, and they could be dangerous. I think some credit needs to be given to Sheldon Keefe behind the bench. Sheldon Keefe, I think, has done a good job. I think he's a good coach, and I understand that because of the Toronto not being able to get out of the first round, and then the one time they did, they got Florida. They wanted Florida, but did they want Florida? They didn't want Florida. And so I don't put as much of that on Keefe as I think a lot of other people have. And I think there can be some real success here. It is a completely different team. It is a completely different feel than it was in Toronto, and it may very well suit Keefe more than coaching in Toronto did. Also, when we look at the assistant coaches, I think picking up Jeremy Colleton was a smart move. He coached well here in Abbotsford. I think that was a good pickup for the New Jersey Devils. I'm not saying that he's the heir apparent for a head coaching job in the NHL somewhere else anytime soon, but I think as an assistant, or as an associate coach, that's a good move. And then you've got Ryan McGill, Chris Taylor, and Sergei Brylin as well. So they're pretty good on assistant coaches. And I do think that Sheldon Keefe deserves some credit for some of this, but yeah, you got to clear up those giveaways. That's the one thing I look at and think, man, that's awful. That's got to change. That can't be right. Quite the double take I did when I saw that in the app. Again, hopefully it's an error. It's some kind of typo. Maybe it's 26 giveaways and 23 takeaways. It just seems really, really high. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you've not done so already. So are the Devils for real? Is the question I'm asking all you fine people on the internet today. Let me know your discussion point there, how you feel about the topic. Hit like and subscribe in the event you've not done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It's great to have the season back, isn't it? All right, I will talk to you again soon.